People in the village didn't know that Ngozi wasn't a normal girl. She was a snake spirit who had taken human form. Long time ago, there was a kingdom called Edom. It had fertile land and a thriving trade industry. The people of Edom were mostly farmers and traders who lived simple but happy lives. In the middle of the kingdom was the royal palace, which was home to King Agu, his 3 wives, and their 20 children. King Agu was a big, strong man who was known for being greedy and gluttonous. While his people worked in the fields to grow food, the king sat in the court and drank gallons of palm wine while eating plates after plates of roasted meats, stewed vegetables, and pounded yam. Farmers couldn't keep up with the king's huge appetites, and even the royal livestock wasn't enough. King Agu sent his servants to take livestock from the villagers, leaving them with nothing. Every day, the king ate a dozen oxen, 50 chickens, barrels of fish, and baskets of fruits. The people of Edom begged the king to control his appetites so they could feed their families too, but he paid no attention to them. The king was so greedy, he kept taxing the people more and more and taking their crops and animals until they had almost nothing left to eat. Eventually, the people had enough and decided to take their case directly to the gods. They gathered outside the shrine and prayed and sang. The gods heard their cries that night. The oracle priestess of the kingdom had a vision that the gods would send a saviour to save the people from King Agu's unquenchable greed. The next day, a strange young girl named Ngozi came to the kingdom wandering about in the marketplace. She was very small and looked not more than 12 years old, with sad, hungry eyes that made the villagers feel sorry for her. People in the village didn't know that Ngozi wasn't a normal girl. She was a snake spirit who had taken human form to punish the greedy king. As Ngozi spent time with the villagers, she heard more and more stories about how the king was taking advantage of them. Hearing about families going hungry while the king ate made Ngozi very angry. One day, Ngozi requested an audience with King Agu. The king, who was busy stuffing his mouth with roasted lamb leg, lazily told the guards to let her in. When Ngozi was ushered into the king's chamber, she bowed before the king and said, "Your Majesty, I have come to dance in your honor." The glutton king nodded for her to proceed, then continued tearing into the juicy lamb leg. Ngozi then began to gracefully dance, twirling and leaping into the beats of a drum. The king watched in admiration, grease dripping down his chin onto his large protruding belly. As Ngozi danced faster and faster, the king started to feel very sleepy. His eyelids grew heavy and began to close. Before long, he had dozed off on his throne with the lamb leg still clutched in his chubby fingers. Right then, Ngozi made her move as she shapeshifted from a young girl into a giant python at least 30 feet long. The people in the hall screamed and ran from the exits, but the sleeping king did not even notice. Ngozi slithed up to the throne and opened her massive jaws. In one quick snap, she swallowed King Agu. The only trace left of the king was his crown, which rested on the throne. When the palace guard rushed in and saw the giant snake, they immediately attacked Ngozi with the spears and arrows, but the weapons could not pierce her thick scale. Ngozi simply yawned a mighty yawn and swallowed up a few of the guards too, before slithering calmly out of the palace. When the people of Edom heard what had happened to their greedy king, they were happy. They sang and danced in the streets to celebrate their freedom from the king's greed. Meanwhile, Ngozi slithered down to the river and fell into a deep sleep for many days to slowly digest the greedy king and guards. When she woke up, she let out a loud bop. Her divine mission was completed. The king's eldest son, Emeka, took over the throne. Emeka was a wise and kind young man who was loved by the people. He worked hard to repair the damage his father had done, giving back lands and livestock to the villagers. He made sure everyone in the kingdom had enough food to eat. The people entered a new era of prosperity and happiness. As for Ngozi, she remained in the kingdom for some years as an adopted daughter of the high priestess. The people embraced her as a heroine, for she had saved them from King Agu's greed. Ngozi enjoyed her quiet life among the villagers, but something strange happened. One morning, the villagers discovered Ngozi had left their kingdom and moved on to a new land and adventures unknown. The story of Ngozi the Python girl and the greedy king became a tale parents told to their children and a warning against unchecked greed and arbitrary use of power. The kingdom of Edom lived on in peace and prosperity for centuries to come. The moral of this tale is clear. Greed can lead to the downfall of even the mightiest ruler, and the pursuit of power at the expense of others ultimately brings about one's demise. Through the courage and intervention of Ngozi, the people of Edom were liberated from the shackles of King Agu's insatiable appetites, paving way for a new era of prosperity and kindness under the wise rule of King Emeka. Thank you for joining us on this journey. What was your highlight in the story? Tell us in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tales that resonate through the ages. Until next time, bye.